Eric Dawson leaned over the control panel, his fingers moving quickly across the holographic displays. The Orion's edge drifted closer to the dark, massive shape in front of them. The obsidian archive was more enormous than he had imagined. It was a black crystal, smooth and unbroken, stretching out in every direction. Its surface reflected the starlight in strange patterns, almost like it was alive. "Captain, sensors are showing no life signs inside," said Lily Harper, her voice calm but tense. She had been the ship's xenobiologist for 5 years, but nothing she had studied prepared her for this. "And the energy readings are unlike anything I've seen." Eric nodded. "I don't care what it is. We're here to find out what it knows, and we're going to be careful." The crew was small, just 6 humans, but they were experienced. There was Marcus, the engineer, quiet and precise. Anna, the communications officer, who always kept her cool. And 3 others, each skilled in science or security. They had been warned by other species that the Obsidian Archive did not respond to outsiders. Most civilizations that approached it were ignored. "Why do you think it even exists?" Anna asked. She leaned over the railing, staring at the black structure. "It's so empty." "To collect knowledge," Eric said. "That's what the reports say. Every species that approached it has been told to submit their data, all their history, technology, and culture. And yet, no one knows who built it." Lily stepped closer to the observation window. "Do you think it listens?" Eric raised an eyebrow. "Maybe. Or maybe it just watches. Either way, we'll find out soon enough." The Orion's edge moved closer, using careful thrusters. As they reached the outer edge of the Obsidian Archive, the crystal seemed to pulse. Not with light, but with a subtle vibration, like it was aware of them. Marcus frowned at his console. "Captain, the readings are changing. It's reacting to us." Eric leaned forward. "What do you mean?" I mean, I don't know. It's like it's thinking, or listening," Marcus said, unsure. Before anyone could respond, a voice echoed through the ship's comms. It was not a voice of any human or alien they knew. It was calm, deep. And even though it spoke no words at first, the tone made every human on the bridge shiver. "Humans," it said finally. The single word was clear. "State your purpose." Anna blinked. Did that just speak to us?" Eric straightened. "Yes. And it called us humans. Respond." He turned to the microphone. "We are explorers from Earth. We seek knowledge, and we wish to share what we know." There was a pause. Then, the voice returned. Still calm and measured. "Share what you know. Submit your data." Lily frowned. "Submit our data? It wants everything we have?" Eric nodded. "Yes, that's how other species did it. They uploaded their history, science, culture, everything. But we are not like them," Lily said. "We are small. Our history is short. Our technology is simple." Eric looked at her. "Maybe that's why it wants to see us. Maybe it wants to see how humans handle it. Let's do it carefully. We can start with basic knowledge. See how it responds." They activated the data interface. Marcus guided them through the system. Slowly, the ship transmitted information to the archive. Data about Earth, humanity's history, our science, our art. Every byte was carefully selected. The archive absorbed it silently. Then, as the last file transmitted, the voice returned. "Rejected." The word hit them all like a cold wind. "What?" Anna said. "Rejected?" "Yes," the voice repeated. "The data does not meet standards. Submit again." Eric clenched his jaw. "Standards? What standards?" The voice was calm. All data from all species evaluated. None meet the requirement. Try again. Marcus shook his head. Captain, it doesn't make sense. Other species' data was complete. They had advanced technology and long histories. Why reject humans? Eric felt a strange mix of anger and curiosity. Maybe it's not about completeness. Maybe it's about something else. Something we do differently. Lily stepped forward. What if it's listening in a different way? Not just reading data. Maybe it wants something from us directly. Eric nodded slowly. Like what? I don't know, she admitted. Maybe our thoughts, or our decisions. Something we can't put in a file. They looked at each other, the weight of the moment settling in. They were facing a test, but it was not a normal one. The Obsidian Archive did not measure speed, strength, or even intelligence in a usual way. It measured something harder to define. The crew decided to try a different approach. Instead of uploading more files, they began speaking aloud. Eric described humanity's struggles, our failures, our innovations. Lily spoke about curiosity, the search for knowledge, and the human desire to create and imagine. Anna shared stories of humans' courage and compassion. Marcus told how humans repaired ships and solved problems in ways no algorithm could predict. The archive listened. There was a long silence. Then, slowly, it responded. Not with words, but with a low vibration that filled the ship. The crew felt it deep in their bones. It was acknowledging them. Eric took a deep breath. It's listening, not just to our words, but to what we mean. It wants more than data. It wants us. The voice returned again, softer this time. Continue. The human crew spent hours sharing their stories, speaking honestly about who they were. They did not exaggerate. They did not lie. They spoke of fear and hope, failure and courage, loss and creation. By the time the first rotation of their starship around the archive was complete, the crew understood one thing clearly. This was not a test of information. It was a test of essence. The Obsidian Archive wanted to know what it meant to be human. Eric looked around at his team. We may be small. We may be new to the galaxy. But we have something no other species has. Let's show it. Lily smiled, a rare warmth in her eyes. Something different. Something alive. As they prepared to spend the next cycle speaking and sharing, the black crystal pulsed again. This time, it felt almost welcoming. The Obsidian Archive had rejected their data, but it had not rejected them. And for the first time, humanity's voice, their simple, imperfect, unpredictable voice, had entered the record. The next day, the Orion's edge drifted closer to the center of the Obsidian Archive. The black crystal seemed to grow larger, as if it were stretching to welcome them. But the crew knew better. The archive was alive in its own way, but it was not friendly. It was testing them. Captain, I'm reading changes in the energy patterns, Marcus said quietly. His fingers moved over the console with careful precision. It's not static anymore. It's shifting. Eric nodded. Good. That means it's responding to us. Keep monitoring. Lily, can you detect any other forms of intelligence? Lily's brow furrowed. It's hard to tell. There's something different. It's like a wave of thought, not a being. It reacts when we speak, but it also seems to anticipate our questions. It's evaluating everything. Eric leaned back in his chair. We are not just visitors. We are the test. The crew knew that other species had tried to impress the archive with technology, history, and large libraries of knowledge. All had failed. The archive had rejected them. Eric wondered if humans had any chance. But he also knew humans were different. Humans thought differently. Humans improvised. Humans survived in ways no algorithm could predict. "Captain," Anna said, "we're receiving a transmission. Another ship. It's an alien vessel. Looks like a species called the Kaltorians." Eric raised an eyebrow. "Kaltorians? They are one of the oldest civilizations in this part of the galaxy. They probably think they own the archive by right." The screen flickered, and a tall, thin Kaltorian appeared. "Humans, you should not be here. The Obsidian Archive is beyond your understanding. Leave now." Eric smiled faintly. "We are not leaving. We are here to learn, same as you." The Kaltorian narrowed its eyes. "You will fail. All species before you have failed. Even your presence is an error." Marcus muttered under his breath. "They think we're primitive," Eric said aloud. "Maybe we are, but we are also creative. We do not give up easily." The Kaltorian hissed, then vanished from the screen. Eric turned to his crew. "They will watch us." "That is fine. Let them think humans cannot succeed. We have a chance they do not understand. 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 For the next hours, the crew focused on the archive. They tried uploading more data, but the archive rejected it again. Each time it rejected the data, the crew realized the problem was not with the information. The archive did not care about knowledge alone. Lily looked at the central console. It's listening to our ideas, our thinking, even our way of explaining things. The other species probably failed because they only gave facts. They didn't show creativity. Eric nodded slowly. Humans have something the Kaltorians and others do not. We improvise. We create. We adapt. Let's see if it wants that. Quote. He began to speak aloud to the archive. We are humans. We are small and young in the galaxy. But we make things from nothing. We solve problems no one else can. We have failed many times, and we have succeeded many times. We learn, and we teach. We grow. Lily added her voice. We do not know all the answers, but we ask questions. We imagine solutions. We build and destroy. We care for each other. We change the world around us. The crystal pulsed faintly. It was subtle, but it was a reaction. Marcus leaned closer. It's responding. Slowly. Eric smiled. Good. Keep going. Tell it more. They spoke for hours. They did not read files or lists. They shared stories. Stories of humans helping each other survive on harsh planets. Stories of humans exploring without knowing what dangers waited. Stories of humans creating art, music, and ideas from nothing. The archive did not speak, but the crystal walls around them hummed softly. It seemed to vibrate with approval. Suddenly, a new test appeared. A holographic simulation filled the bridge. It showed a planet with a collapsing ecosystem. Creatures were dying, weather was violent, and the environment was unstable. The archive spoke in its calm voice. Solve it. Eric frowned. Solve it? How? This is a simulation, yes, but it's extreme. Lily looked at the hologram. It's testing how we think. It wants us to respond in ways that no algorithm could. It wants creativity. Eric nodded. Then we show it what humans do best. He examined the simulation. Instead of attacking the problem with a single solution, he combined methods. He adjusted the weather patterns, introduced new life forms, and created habitats to stabilize the ecosystem. He explained every step aloud, describing why humans would act in this way. The archive watched silently, but the vibrations in the ship grew stronger. It was responding more quickly. Marcus said quietly, "I think it's impressed. It's never done this for any other species." Eric glanced at the others. "Keep thinking aloud. Humans survive by adapting. We improvise. That is our strength." The Kaltorian ship appeared again on the screen. Their voice was sharp. "Humans, stop. You do not belong here. You are wasting your time." Eric shook his head. "No. We belong here. We are showing the archive what we are capable of. That is what matters." Hours passed. The crew continued working through simulations, problems, and discussions. They shared ideas, corrected mistakes, and learned from each other. Each attempt was different from the last. The archive responded with pulses, vibrations, and subtle lights across the crystal walls. Finally, as the first rotation of their ship around the archive ended, the black crystal pulsed strongly. The voice spoke, not with rejection this time, but with a calm tone. "Continue. Show more." The crew exchanged excited glances. This was the first time the archive had encouraged humans. No species had ever received such acknowledgement. Thus, Eric leaned back in his chair, feeling both relief and excitement. "We are not just visitors. We are part of this now. We have something the other species do not. Our voice, our creativity, our way of thinking." Lily smiled. "It's listening to who we are, not just what we know. That is why it reacts to humans differently," Marcus said quietly. "I never thought I'd see humans impress an ancient archive like this." Eric looked at them all. "We have a chance to show it more. We have a chance to teach the galaxy something it has never seen before. Let's not waste it." The crew prepared for the next cycle, knowing that the archive would continue testing them in ways no one could predict. The challenge was not about intelligence or technology. It was about being human. And for the first time, they understood what that meant. The Obsidian Archive had not just observed them, it had begun to learn from them. The Orion's edge floated quietly as the black crystal walls of the Obsidian Archive stretched into the distance. The humans had learned something important. The archive did not want data. It wanted understanding, creativity, and problem-solving, and it seemed to be testing them more than ever. Eric Dawson stood at the observation window, watching the subtle movements of the archive. Its surface rippled slightly, almost like it breathed. "It's watching us more closely now," he said. "Every word, every decision counts." Lily Harper nodded. "It's responding to our voice and our ideas, not our technology. Other species relied on files, on perfect knowledge. We rely on thinking and action." Marcus adjusted a console. "And improvisation. Don't forget that. That seems to matter a lot." A new holographic simulation appeared before them. This time, it was not a planet or ecosystem. It was a city under attack, with alien creatures of different forms, invading and destroying everything. The archive spoke in its calm, deep voice. "Survive. Protect." Eric studied the simulation. This is not a simple problem. No one can solve it perfectly. But humans, we adapt. Also, one says, also, he began to explain his plan aloud. We need to evacuate civilians, defend critical structures, and use the environment to our advantage. But we must also improvise. We cannot predict every action the attackers will take. Lily added, "We can guide the simulation's response by showing decisions humans would make in real danger. We are unpredictable. That may be what it wants to see." The crew divided their tasks. Marcus focused on structural defenses, Anna coordinated evacuation routes, and the others adapted to new threats as they appeared in the simulation. Eric narrated each choice, describing the thought process behind every decision. The archive pulsed faintly at first, then stronger, as if it was absorbing every detail. Unlike other species, humans did not rely on perfect solutions. They learned from mistakes. They adapted to unexpected events. They combined logic with instinct. Hours passed. The city simulation continued to change, presenting new dangers. Humans responded without hesitation, improvising and adjusting in ways no other species could predict. Each decision was explained aloud, and each explanation seemed to resonate with the archive. Suddenly, a message appeared on the screen. Another alien species had arrived. They were called the Vorani, a warlike people with sharp exoskeletons and strong energy shields. Their leader spoke in a harsh, metallic voice. "Humans, you are not qualified. Leave now. The archive is for advanced civilizations. Your presence is an error." Eric's jaw tightened. "We are not leaving. We are showing what humans can do. That is what matters." The Vorani leader's voice hissed. "You are small. You are weak. You are primitive. You will fail. And your failure will be remembered." "Crive." Eric ignored them. He focused on the simulation. The archive continued to pulse, absorbing their decisions and explanations. Humans did not follow rules perfectly. They improvised. They acted with courage, reasoning, and emotion. Lily looked at Eric. "It is learning from us. It is recognizing patterns in our thinking, not in our knowledge. Other species only offered complete files. We offer life." Eric nodded. "Life is unpredictable. Life is creative. And that is why we are different." The simulation reached its peak. Structures fell, creatures attacked from unexpected directions, and civilians were in danger everywhere. The human crew did not panic. They adjusted defenses, moved people to safety, and found innovative solutions to keep as many alive as possible. The archive pulsed again, stronger than before. The voice spoke, calm but filled with weight. "Humans, you are unique. Continue." Marcus stared at the console. "It just said we are unique. No other species has heard that." Eric smiled. "It is responding to who we are, not what we have. That is why humans are different. That is why we survive, where others fail." Hours later, when the simulation ended, the city was damaged but mostly intact. Most civilians were safe. The archive had absorbed every decision, every action, every explanation. Humans had shown improvisation, creativity, and courage. The crew took a moment to breathe. Anna said, "I never thought we could impress an ancient archive like this. Other species would have failed in minutes." Eric looked at the black crystal walls. "We are not finished. The archive wants more. It wants to see our creativity applied in ways other species cannot imagine." Lily nodded. "It seems to be evaluating emotional intelligence too. Compassion, courage, empathy, the things other species cannot measure." Suddenly, a faint glow appeared within the black crystal. It was subtle at first, then stronger. The voice spoke again. "Creator." The word made the crew freeze. Marcus muttered, "Did it just call us that?" Eric's eyes widened. "It did. It called us Creator," Lily whispered. "This is something no one expected. It did not just recognize our actions. It recognized us as a source of creation." Eric turned to his crew. "Listen to me. This is not just about surviving or knowing. This is about being human. Our voice, our decisions, our creativity. It matters in ways the galaxy has never seen. The archive recognizes that." For a moment, silence filled the ship. Humans were small, young, and untested by galactic standards. Yet they were acknowledged as creators by an intelligence older than most species combined. The Vorani and Kaltorians could only watch from outside, confused and suspicious. No species before had ever been recognized in this way. Humans had achieved something unimaginable. Eric smiled, quietly proud. We are just getting started. There will be more tests, more challenges. But now, we know the truth. Humans have something unique, something no other species has. Lily added, we survived where others failed. We think in ways they cannot. And the archive recognizes that. It is responding to our humanity. The crew spent the rest of their cycle preparing for the next challenge. They spoke aloud about their experiences, shared stories, and discussed ideas for approaching the archive's next tests. Each conversation, each explanation, made them stronger, more confident, more human. Eric stood at the observation window one last time before resting. Whatever comes next, we face it together. We are humans. We survive. We create. And we will continue to show the galaxy what that means. The black crystal pulsed one final time as the ship drifted farther into its depths. The Obsidian Archive had begun to recognize humanity in a way no species had ever experienced. For the first time, humans were not just visitors, they were creators. And the galaxy was about to notice. The Orion's Edge floated quietly inside the Obsidian Archive. The black crystal walls stretched endlessly, glowing faintly as if alive. The human crew had already proven themselves different. The archive had called them creator, a word no other species had ever heard. Yet the tests were far from over. Eric Dawson stood at the observation window, looking at the shifting crystal surface. We've done well so far, he said quietly. But it's clear the archive isn't finished. There's more it wants from us. Lily Harper nodded. It's testing creativity, problem-solving, and compassion. But I think now it will push us further. It wants to see how humans handle responsibility. Marcus frowned at his console. Responsibility? We're just explorers. What kind of challenge could it give that we can't handle? Eric smiled faintly. A new simulation appeared in the center of the bridge. Unlike the previous ones, this was not a problem to solve alone. It showed a complex galaxy with multiple planets under threat. Civilizations were at war, and entire systems were collapsing. The archive's voice echoed softly. Guide, protect, create stability. Anna gasped. This is bigger than anything before. It's asking us to think about entire civilizations, not just one city or planet. Eric nodded. Yes. And it's testing how we think as humans. Other species would only calculate outcomes or enforce rules. We will need to consider choices, consequences, and cooperation. Lily studied the simulation. It's forcing us to think about ethics, strategy, and imagination. It's impossible to solve perfectly, but humans adapt to impossibility. Eric turned to the crew. This is what makes us different. We don't follow preset rules. We improvise. We care. We create. That is why the archive listens to us. The crew worked together, discussing each decision aloud. Eric described the possible consequences of every action. Lily suggested balancing resources while considering each civilization's needs. Marcus adapted technological solutions, while Anna coordinated communications between simulated worlds. The archive pulsed faintly at first, then stronger. It seemed to respond to the human way of thinking, not just their actions. Unlike other species, humans did not seek perfection. They sought solutions that worked, even if they were imperfect. Hours passed. The simulation became more difficult. Threats multiplied. Civilizations faced famine, war, and natural disasters simultaneously. Yet the human crew remained calm, analyzing, improvising, and adjusting their plans aloud. Suddenly, A new transmission appeared on the screen. This time it was a council of elder alien species observing the humans' progress. The Kaltorians, Vorani, and others all watched in silence. The Vorani leader spoke first. "Humans, you continue to survive. We do not understand. The archive should reject you. Your history is short. Your technology is primitive." Eric did not reply. He continued speaking to the archive. "We are humans. We are not perfect. We make mistakes, but we learn from them. We care about others. We create solutions no one expects. That is what matters." Lily added, "We do not rely on old rules. We rely on thinking, compassion, and creativity. That is why we survive where others fail." The archive pulsed again. The black crystal shimmered, brighter this time. Its voice was calm, but carried weight. "Humans, continue. Guidance accepted." Marcus whispered. "It said, guidance accepted. That's more than before." Eric nodded. "Yes. It means we are not just responding. We are being trusted to influence outcomes. The archive is letting us lead. Come and see." For the next several hours, the human crew guided civilizations through crises. They solved conflicts without violence when possible, shared resources fairly, and created plans that balanced survival and growth. They improvised constantly, adjusting to new threats and explaining every decision aloud. The alien species watching grew uneasy. The Kaltorians muttered to each other, "How can these humans succeed where we failed?" The Vorani hissed, "This is impossible. They are too small, too young, too simple. The archive must be mistaken." But the archive was not mistaken. It pulsed stronger each time humans improvised. Each time they explained why they acted with compassion and creativity. It was learning from them, recognizing patterns no other species could offer. Lily turned to Eric. "They can't understand. The archive values life, creativity, and adaptability. We are showing it something they cannot." Eric smiled. "Exactly. Humans are unpredictable, resourceful, and compassionate. That is why we were chosen." As the simulation ended, the archive pulsed once more, and its voice spoke a single word: "Creator." The crew froze. Marcus whispered, "Again. It called us that word. Twice now." Eric nodded slowly. "It recognizes us not just for surviving, but for guiding, creating, and protecting. That is what sets humans apart." Anna added quietly, "We didn't just solve a problem. We taught the archive something about life, about thought, about humans." Lily smiled. "Other species offer data. Humans offer understanding. That is why the archive listens to us differently." The alien observers continued to watch, confused and frustrated. The Kaltorians turned to each other. "This is a mistake. No primitive species should achieve this. The archive cannot recognize humans as creators." The Vorani muttered angrily, "We must challenge them. We cannot allow it." Eric ignored them. He turned to his crew. "Whatever comes next, we continue. We show the archive what it means to be human. It is not about power or technology. It is about creativity, courage, and compassion. That is our strength." The crew spent the rest of the cycle reflecting and sharing ideas aloud. They spoke of human history, struggles, and imagination. They discussed failures and successes, and how humans learn from both. Each word, each explanation, seemed to resonate with the archive. By the time the Orion's Edge prepared for the next rotation, it was clear that humanity had reached a turning point. The archive had begun to acknowledge them fully. They were no longer just visitors or test subjects. They were creators in the eyes of a galactic intelligence older than most civilizations combined. Eric looked at the black crystal walls. We are small, but we are powerful in ways others cannot understand. The archive knows it now, and the galaxy will know it soon. Lily nodded. It is responding to life, not data. That is why we are different. That is why humans are unique. Marcus muttered. I never thought humans could impress an intelligence like this. But we did. Eric smiled. We did, and this is only the beginning. The obsidian archive pulsed one final time as the ship drifted further into its depths. Humanity had been acknowledged as more than just a species. They were creators, and the galaxy was about to take notice. The Orion's edge drifted deeper into the obsidian archive. The black crystal walls glowed faintly, pulsing with a rhythm that seemed alive. Humans had passed every test so far. They had improvised, created, guided, and spoken with honesty and courage. The archive had called them creator more than once. But now, Eric Dawson knew the final challenge was near. Captain, Lily said, her voice quiet. I can feel it. The archive is preparing something different, something big. Eric nodded. I know. We've learned it doesn't want data. It wants understanding. It wants to see how humans shape ideas, decisions, and life itself. Whatever comes next, we face it together. Marcus looked nervous. I just hope it's not impossible. Eric smiled faintly. Humans thrive on the impossible. That's why it listens to us. The holographic displays on the bridge shifted. A new simulation appeared, unlike any before. This one was not a single planet, city, or civilization. It showed an entire sector of the galaxy. Planets were colliding, stars were destabilizing, and countless species faced extinction. The archive's voice echoed through the ship. Stabilize, protect life, guide civilizations, show creation. Anna's eyes widened. This is the entire galaxy. How can we do that? Eric looked at her calmly. We won't do it perfectly, but we will act like humans. We will adapt. We will think, create, and guide. That is what the archive wants. Lily nodded. It's asking us to demonstrate everything humans are capable of: creativity, courage, empathy, and intelligence. The crew divided tasks. Marcus focused on stabilizing planetary systems using simulation tools. Lily coordinated ecological and biological solutions. Anna handled communications between civilizations, ensuring decisions were understood. Eric oversaw the strategy, explaining every choice aloud. Unlike previous tests, the archive did not respond immediately. Instead, it observed, silent and patient. Each pulse of the black crystal seemed to measure their thinking, their reasoning, and their heart. Hours passed. The humans improvised constantly. They solved unexpected problems. They made choices that balanced survival, fairness, and creativity. No species had ever faced such a challenge. No species had ever succeeded. Outside, the Kaltorians and Varani watched silently. The Varani leader hissed, "This cannot be. Humans are too weak, too small, too simple. Yet they survive and adapt. It is impossible." The Kaltorians murmured. They are creating solutions the archive has not seen. Perhaps we underestimated them. Eric ignored them. Focus on the task, he said to his crew. Think, create, adapt. That is what we do best. The archive pulsed faintly. A subtle warmth filled the ship, as if acknowledging the humans' efforts. Eric narrated each decision aloud. We relocate resources to support threatened civilizations. We stabilize unstable stars using energy redirection. We guide species to cooperate and survive together. Lily spoke next. We cannot control everything, but we can teach understanding, adaptation, and compassion. That is what makes humans creators. Marcus added, "We improvise where perfection fails. That is our strength." Anna whispered, "And we care. That is why the archive listens." Slowly, the black crystal pulsed brighter. It was no longer distant or cold. It seemed to reach toward the humans. The voice returned, calm and resonant. "Humans, creator, recognition complete." The words filled the ship. The crew froze, stunned. For the first time, the archive acknowledged them fully, not just as participants, but as creators, the first species ever to earn that distinction. Marcus whispered, It finally recognized us." Eric's eyes shone. "Yes, not for our technology, not for our history, but for who we are. Our voice, our creativity, our courage." Lily smiled. "It is listening to life itself, not data. That is why humans are unique." So, outside, the Kaltorians and Varani watched in shock. The Varani hissed angrily. "No primitive species should achieve this. It is wrong." The Kaltorians whispered among themselves, "Perhaps humans are more than we thought. Perhaps the galaxy has changed." Eric turned to his crew. "We did not just survive. We created solutions, guided life, and showed understanding." The archive recognized it. "That is why we are humans. That is why we matter." The humans spent the next hours exploring the archive with guidance from the crystal. Doors opened to knowledge and technology never shared with any species. Ancient histories, advanced scientific principles, and cultural records were revealed. The humans absorbed what they could, knowing that understanding was more important than power. Anna said quietly, "This is more than discovery. This is responsibility. We now hold knowledge that could help entire civilizations." Lily nodded. "Yes, but the archive gave it to us because we think, create, and care. We cannot misuse it. That would betray what it recognized in us." Eric looked at the black crystal walls. "This is the moment humanity steps into the galaxy differently. We are small, but we are creators. We are not just survivors. We shape life and ideas. And the galaxy will see it now." The alien species outside could only watch. The recognition of humans as creators sent shockwaves through the galactic community. Species who considered themselves supreme now understood that humans had a unique strength, creativity, adaptability, and courage, combined with empathy. The Varani leader muttered, "Perhaps we were wrong. They are exceptional." The Kaltorians whispered, "We underestimated humans. We cannot ignore them any longer." Eric turned to his crew. "This is only the beginning. We have been recognized. We have the knowledge. Now we must return to the galaxy and show what humanity can do. Not to dominate, but to create, guide, and inspire." Lily added, "We carry responsibility now. Every choice we make will matter more than ever." Marcus nodded. "I never imagined humans could be recognized by something like this. But we did. And it's just the start." Eric smiled. "Yes, humans have been heard. Humans have been seen. And now, the galaxy will notice that our voice matters." The black crystal pulsed one final time, a calm and strong acknowledgement. The word echoed again softly, resonating in every corner of the ship. "Creator." The crew looked at each other. They were small, inexperienced, and young, in galactic terms. Yet they were creators. They had faced impossible tests, guided life, and earned recognition from an intelligence older than almost any civilization. Eric whispered, "We are humans. We survive. We create, and we will continue to show the galaxy what that means. The Orion's edge drifted slowly away from the center of the obsidian archive. Outside, stars glimmered in the vast galaxy. Humans had stepped into a new era. They were no longer just observers or explorers. They were creators, and the galaxy would never forget their voice.